Good morning, and welcome to the What Inspired Me Today podcast, a podcast created to inspire you to be the very best that you can be. My name is Stephen Matthew, and this is what inspired me today. Mark Twain is often attributed with the quote that says, "The two most important days in a person's life is the day that they're born and the day that they find out why." This is a really important quote to wrap our heads around, because this is going to be unique to every single individual. The first most important part of this quote that I wanted to highlight is that all of us, every single individual, every one of you that is listening, I want to tell you that you are important, that you are unique, and that you do have meaning and purpose in this life. That might go without saying, but it is important to hear as well. You matter. Your story matters. Your life matters. Everything about you matters to the global consciousness that is us as a human species. Some of us may make more impact than others. Some of us may have more resources. Some of us may have a whole bunch of things that are advantageous in this life. But that doesn't inherently remove the meaning and the purpose and the importance of every single human being on this planet. The second thing is this whole concept of finding meaning and purpose, right? All of us in our lives are trying to find where we fit in. We're trying to find, is there a greater purpose? Where do we fall into this, right? Where do we find meaning and purpose in our own lives? That will ultimately give us the drive and the desire to continue to pursue to be our very best selves. So how do we find that? I would argue that the meaning of life might very simply just be to find meaning in the life that we live. So rather than trying to find this grandiose plan like, oh yeah, I have to do something like the greats of history, it's to find the simple meanings within moments in our life that we go through. Everything has something that can be taught to us. We can learn from every single thing that we go through, whether that be good or bad. We often lose perspective when we're on the mountaintop. We see a lot of things and we're on the highs of life, but then we forget about the journey that it takes to get there. But conversely, when we're in the shadows of the mountains that we go through, when we're in the deepest valleys that we go through, we lose perspective as well and think that this is all there is. But life has more to give and more to offer than simply the temporary experiences that we go through. So, what can we glean from the moments in our life that might give us some sort of meaning? But here's a bit more practical steps, maybe to figure out where you want to go or what you want to do to provide meaning and purpose behind what you do. Number one, figure out for yourself. Write down a list of all of the great things that come easy to you, right? What are your skills and talents? What are the things that come naturally to you? For some things, there might be things that are easy for me to do that are really difficult for you. But conversely, you might be great at something that I would have to work my butt off to try and even be remotely adequate at. All of us have skills and talents that are unique to us. We all have things that we are good at. There is no person on the planet that sucks at everything. Everyone has unique skills and talents that they are specifically good at. What are those skills and talents for you? That might give you an indication of where to lean into for what you want to do, potentially. Now, you don't have to necessarily get paid for it. You don't necessarily have to make this what is going to be your job, per se. You can do other things that you might not necessarily be good at, but it could be a hobby. It could be something that is your passion project. That gives us the drive and the passion to continue to do all of the things that we might not want to do in order so that we can do what we want to do. Now, in an ideal world, we'll get paid for the things that we are really good at, right? We find satisfaction and meaning in that. For some people, their passions don't necessarily line up with what they are good at either. I can be good at something, but not be really passionate about it, but be really passionate about something and not necessarily be good at it. But that's okay, right? They don't have to go hand in hand either to be something that we pursue. So, number one, figure out what you're good at. That might give you a sense of direction of where to lean into. For some of you, especially if you're younger, that might actually give you some sort of direction of what you want to pursue for studies, maybe, or for work. Or it can just be something that is a passion project, and that is a-okay as well. Because as we continue to do stuff that we are good at, we continue to get better at it. It's a muscle, right? It's something that we train at, it's something that we do, and as we do it more often, practice makes progress, right? It doesn't make perfection. We don't have to be perfect at anything that we do, but we should ideally try and progress every single day. So that's number one. Figure out what you're good at and focus on that. There are obviously things that you might want to improve upon, and as you put more work into it, you will improve upon it. But lean into the things that you're already good at, and that will make life a little bit more bearable, right? A little bit easier. The second thing to maybe figure out your passions, maybe figure out that purpose, is to figure out, what are you passionate about? What are the things that really drive you or motivate you or rile you up, right? In the best positive way. So, for example, the first time this happened to me was when I was a senior in high school, and we watched Taken, the movie Taken with Liam Neeson. And what that highlighted for me, beyond the action of the movie, right, was that there is injustices in this world that I wasn't privy to up until that point. And those injustices made me, or seeing those injustices through the storytelling of a movie, made me aware of it, and it made me now more focused on what are the things that are going on in this world that might need to be talked into or talked about. And to this day, it makes me more socially aware of the things that might be going wrong, and maybe what is my role in that, or how can I help to make this world a little bit better, a little bit safer. And so that's an example of that for you. It might be something not as serious for you, but for me, I realized that my passion really is to inspire people, to grow people, to encourage people. I've always been a supporter and a cheerleader, right? I want to be someone that uplifts, not bring people down. And so with that, my passion and my drive lean me in the direction of trying to pursue things that help me to do that. One of those methods and ways is through this podcast. Being able to encourage you and to help you find purpose and meaning in your own life helps me to continue to pursue that route of communication. Thankfully, it is something that comes easier for me than maybe other people. Public speaking comes easier, and I'm so grateful for that gift. But what I realize is that I need to use that gift more so that I can get better at it, but also to uplift and to encourage more often. Because if I don't do it, then I'm not working out that muscle in myself. And so that gives me the drive to continue doing this podcast. So for you guys, ask yourself two questions. Ask yourself, what am I good at? And what is my passion? What are the things that gets me hyped? What are the things that gets me up in the morning? Pursue the things that give you meaning in your life. They don't have to be big things, but every single day, find the little moments and find meaning in those moments. And as we do that, we will start to build up the acumen and realize that, we have an overall plan or a purpose or a direction that we want to go in. It takes introspection, it takes honesty with yourself, but if you take the time to figure out what it is that you're good at, what drives you, what you're passionate about, you might get a clearer understanding of what it is that you are meant to do in your own life and how you can impact the world. With that said, have a great week.